Hello, I'm Charlotte Jessup and welcome to the Looking After Your Pennies YouTube channel. Today we're talking about 5 things you can try if you can't stick to your budget. Now, I'm a big fan of budgeting and I think everybody should have one, but sometimes it can be really hard to make them work for the whole month. I'm sure there's plenty of times you've tried a budget and it hasn't maybe worked out how you wanted to, and I've been through the same thing. There have been times when I've budgeted for one thing and then realised that wasn't enough and I've had to change it partway through the month. So today I've got 5 suggestions for you to help you stick to your budget this month. Number 1, track your expenses. Now, I think that everybody should have some sort of information about their expenses before you create your budget. Now, in the personal finance world, people generally work on looking back at, say, 3 to 6 months worth of expenses, and this can give you an idea of what you need to put into each category in your budget for the month ahead. Now, I say do that and look very closely at where each of those expenses fall. Categorize them, so don't just look at them one by one, put them into categories. So those categories might be things like food, entertainment, days out, childcare, any categories that work for you and your family. So once you've done that, you can then start feeding that information into your budget and it becomes more of a informed budget rather than an optimistic one where you hope that you're just going to achieve those values, or you've set like a low amount on it but you have no idea what you are actually going to spend. So track your expenses, that's number 1. The second one is keep tracking your expenses. Now, I say this because a lot of people track their expenses before their budget and then they just let their budget play out. So they sort of go, right, that's it, these are the numbers, and then they wait until the end of the month or whenever the end of the period that they've budgeted for ends, and then they see if they've been successful with it or not. I say that that's a silly thing to do, okay? Don't do that. You've got to keep looking at what you're spending day to day. Now, an expenses tracker is the absolute way to do this. Now, I have one of these in my shop and I will put the link in the notes below. So have a look there if you want an expenses tracker. It's in my budgeting printables package, and you will be able to record your expenses day by day. Now, the benefit of this is you can see how your budget is working out. So you might think that you're doing great in one category, but unless you know that you're doing great in one category, you don't know how that budget is playing out. So record it as you go and do a kind of like running total in each section of your budget. So if you've got a food section, you can write down every trip to Tesco or every trip to the corner shop, and highlighters are good here. You can highlight the ones that fall into different categories and then use that to check how your budget's going. You might find that you get halfway through the month and you're running a little over, and then you can tweak things partway through to make them work for you for the rest of the month. Now, that leads me nicely onto number 3, which is make adjustments as you go. Now, we all set our budget in the hope that it's going to work out, but let's make this a living document. Let's not make it something that we just create and then we check at the end. We're already tracking our expenses. We're already making sure that we have an eye on what is happening with our money and where we're spending it. So let's make adjustments. Why not make little tweaks? So let's say, for example, that you're not going out as much and so you're spending less on fuel. Now, you might find that you've got a bit of a surplus in that category. So take the money from that category and put it into another part of your budget where maybe you're running a little short. So you might have underestimated on your food bill, but you've overestimated on your travel expenses bill. So move the money around a bit, make some changes. And if you're using a spreadsheet, fabulous, you can just tweak the numbers as you go. And if you're doing it on paper, use a pencil, okay? Because then you can just rub it out, edit it, and make the changes that you need to make to get you through the month. Right, number 4. Number 4 is about goals. I'm a big fan of goal-focused budgeting. So this is budgeting where you have a clear goal about what your budget is trying to help you achieve before you start. So if you are not doing that with your budget, do that. Absolutely do that. So right at the top, put what your goal is. Now, your goal could be to get debt free. Your goal could be to pay off the mortgage. Your goal could be to save for a fabulous holiday for your family. But whatever it is, make sure that it stands out on your budget. Put that at the top and then make sure that your budget is reflecting that. I find that people who have a goal-focused budget actually have a greater chance of succeeding in their budget because they know what they are working towards. They know that they want to achieve that thing. So this extra expenditure or overspending in certain categories doesn't happen quite so much because they know that that is going to have a detrimental effect on them achieving their goals. So have that goal in mind, and then whenever you are making unplanned expenditure, or whenever you're out and you're shopping and you're thinking, oh, I quite like that, think about whether it is going to get you closer to your goal or whether it's going to take you further away from it. And when you have that mindset, suddenly it becomes easier to make those purchases. And the last one is number 5, and that is budget in the fun. Make sure that in your budget you have budgeted in for some fun. Now this can be in the form of something you've planned to do together, or this could be like an pocket money for each member of your family. So give them a set amount of money that you can do with what you like. Now, you might do something different with that from your partner, but that's okay. If you budget in the fun, it's almost like your little bit of a buffer that allows you to enjoy your budget rather than keep saying, oh, can I do this? Can I afford this? Have we budgeted for this? It gives you that freedom to spend freely within that amount. Okay, so budget in that fun, budget in this personal allowance that allows you to have that creativity and the freedom throughout the month, and it stops you feeling quite so restricted by your budget and helps you achieve those goals. So that's it. Those are my 5 things. You've got track the expenses, keep tracking the expenses, make adjustments as you go, stick to your goals, and budget in the fun. If you do those things, you will create a budget that is much easier to stick to. So that's it for today. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a like. And if you want more tips around money and building your money confidence, then make sure you hit that subscribe button so you never miss a video. Thank you for watching today, and I will see you in a future episode.